Hi guys, Madmable77 here again for the third video. I went out and got myself a dedicated video camera today so I can get better film for you. So this video is going to be a bit of a test of that. Over the last couple of days on the site we've had some real good conversations over things like pick sets to buy for newbies and what's the best way of documenting your progress and things like that. So tonight, as a newbie myself who's only now starting, I thought I'd try and cover a few of those for some newbies. There's not going to be much picking tonight, if any actually. I just thought I'd try and cover some of these things about what pick sets, what picks, what we need, how to document your progress and things like that. You'll have to excuse my cat, he's decided to come and say hello mid-video. So what do we actually need to pick a lock? What we do need is a cat not sitting on the table, but what we actually need is that. We need a tension tool, a pick and a lock to pick. In its most basic form, that is it. In this case that's just one of the cheap set that I got when I first started picking locks, but that is pretty much it guys. That in its most basic form is it. You can make the tension wrench and the pick yourself. I mean, go have a look on our site at the homebrew section, and that particular lock I got off eBay, that's a repinnable one, comes with 30 extra pins. As a newbie I could definitely recommend getting one of those. You can start with one pin, and as you develop feel you can go right through to 6 and then start adding spools and stuff. So let's say you're a newbie, you don't want to make your own picks, so there's lots of pick sets out there, so what do you go for? To be honest guys, that's very personal, and any of the sets I show you now, I'm not trying to say buy these, buy that. These just happen to be sets that I own, but this set is the first set I bought. That's a cheap Gosso Chinese set, and if you're just starting out, these are great. They're about 9-10 quid or so. They do similar sets by Clom and that. They do need a little bit of sanding down and finishing to take the round edges off. You can find videos on how to do that, but then we've got a good selection of hooks. You have to excuse the light on the camera. We've got a good selection of rakes, and then some car tools at the top. And in general they are good tools. They will keep you going. A lot of the guys on the site still use their first sets of tools and swear by the Chinese ones, so don't have to spend a lot of money. Get yourself a cheap set, and then if you get into it more you may want to move on to things like this. I mean, they're in separate cases, but in there we've got a few Pickology picks, a Mad Bob set, some Southords, some Sparrows, a few other bits and bobs, just general picks that I've picked up that I like the shape of, not necessarily sets. They're just things that I've picked up as time goes on, as you do. So that's the sort of thing that's out there guys. Most of these sets will need some finishing. For that, all you need, what I've got there is some dirt cheap sandpaper, going down to a fine grade, and in the book there, I use the book because you can put a nice piece of fine paper in there and you rub the pick in and out of the pages that's got the sandpaper in, and you get a lovely finish if you go right up to something ridiculously high like 5,000 or 8,000 like some guys do. That just helps smooth it down. I happen to also have an oil stone there. I can smooth things out on. That's great, and when it comes to locks, there's loads of options out there as well. These are the typical sort of locks you'll find on eBay. Come in job lots, anything between 10 and 20 quid for 3, 4, 5 to 10 locks. We've got some padlocks here. You need to be a little bit careful, as some of the guys will tell you, with some of these padlocks from the cheap Chinese sort of places that are in pound shops. Some of them are a very easy pick, most of them are a very easy rake. But if you're actually trying to progress your single pin pick, and a lot of the time they can be really, really crappy to try and progress your feel on, but they are out there. They're worth picking up and picking, because at the end of the day you never know what you're going to come across and what someone's going to give you to pick for fun. I might get sent anything in the post by one of these guys, so any information you get back and anything you learn is great. If you're still into our sport, when you get on from there, and you might start picking challenge locks and things like that off the site, there's one I have there, thanks from Janio, he sent me from Norway. You may start wanting to make things like that for people, in which case all you really need is what I've got in there is a few pins that come with that lock, and just some that I've got out of some old locks that I've pulled apart, so I can put different pins in locks. I've got there inside an old lock. That's a cheap plastic plug follower set I bought, but you can make those out of any pipe and that's the right diameter or anything like that. I've got some pin material in there and some grub screws, so I can repin the locks. That was sent to me by Janio as well. You know, and in there's some tweezers and the other half of that lock. I've also got some more tweezers down here. This pair here, I don't know if you can actually see if it focuses. I've actually filed them away slightly so they can hold pins and things. You know, so you can repin the lock just a little bit easier. If you're going to start doing things like that, that is a really good idea to get yourself some, you know, little cheap needle files and things. They're great for everything. You can, you know, file down pins and chambers, and you can make yourself get some old crappy keys and see if you can make yourself snake and rake keys and things like that. I like to do that just for the challenge. There's a couple there. I thought I had a couple of old door lock keys for a Yale lock lying about. I took the files to them just for fun. I actually made a couple of workable keys there. You know, it was just fun to see if I could do it, and I could do it. We've got some cheap Chinese locks here. Actually, I'll bring your attention to these because these are sold for about £3 on eBay, and I noticed with these they've got this plastic cover across the top, and that does actually pop out. They've put no glue in them whatsoever. So whilst they're sold as a cheap unpinnable lock, you can actually pop this cover off and repin them. So you can change the pins about in there, or put different pins in and change the bit in order, or the binding order. They're not supposed to be repinnable, but I've found they are. So yeah, you know, another thing you can do, once you've done all this, you might want to sort of keep a track of your progress, as I am. As I say, I've decided to do a video log. That way I can always look back, watch the progress, and see what I did, how I've progressed. If you don't want to do a video log for everyone to read, you could maybe do one just for yourself, keep it personal, or even do a log book. I much prefer the video because if you do it right, you can see and hear what you were doing to the lock. When it comes to the video, try and give a good commentary on what you're doing, what you're feeling, what you're using. Obviously, if it's a challenge lock, try not to say what you're getting off each pin, because you don't want the next person having a bit of a easier time. But in general, if you're doing a lock that isn't really a challenge lock or anything, try and tell what you're feeling on each pin and speak through it as you go along. You'll find when you come back to it at a later date, you can sit and watch it and know exactly, you know, what you were feeling for that lock. Again, in this video there has been various keys. They're all just filed keys, nothing special. If you're going to do a video, make sure that before you film the video, you know, you put anything, house keys or anything that you don't want in the film, out of the way. There are some unscrupulous people out there. Anything that's got your personal address on or anything like that, get it out of the way. And that's about it, guys. That's all we really need. You know, come and see us on uklocksport.co.uk. If you've got any questions, ask away. And before you go out there and spend a lot of money, you know, have a look around, do your research, see what people say about various things, ask us lots of questions, you know, and please feel free to video your own journey, as I am. You know, I'm only on video 3, but I intend to keep this going for as long as I can, and hopefully the viewers, if I get any, will come along on the journey with me and watch me go from noob to not quite so noob, or should we say lucky to slightly less lucky. But thanks a lot, thanks for watching, and we shall see you soon. Mad Mabel.